Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. To join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Are we back? I think we're back, everybody. Let me know if you can hear us. All right. Maybe we do deserve to be ranked 5th on every list. It's okay. Are we back?
Are we back?
So let the people... Okay, there you go.
Shout out Eric Allen.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, maybe we do need to be ranked 5th. But anyway, welcome to the Morning Woodward Show. Appreciate you guys for joining, man. I'm excited. It's a good show. I know we had a little bit of audio issues, but we're back and rolling. Got a packed show for you guys planned for today. Same crew as always. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, JB, Lucas Klotz. We'll have special guests joining us today as well. Detroit Kool-Aid. Got to talk his ish today, even though the Pistons lost, but we're going to go through some of what happened, of course, in that ball game itself. You know, the Giannis technical, which costed me and Booner our parlay. It's a different conversation, but we'll have all there too. Yeah, he had 15 points in the third quarter, had to get 20. You know, it is what it is. But hey, we're excited. John Macaroon joining us at 8:30. The Doc. You know, every Thursday gives us our taste, some medicine to kind of ease into the weekend for the Lions game, and it'll be exciting to talk to him as well. But later on in the show, we got a lot more Lions. Of course, we'll get to Herman Moore's comments on Jameson Williams. He had some interesting things to say about Jameson. I know Lucas Klotz agrees with him, and I didn't get a chance to fully listen. I wanted to listen on the show itself, but I've heard he was speaking facts about the situation, so I'm excited to hear what he said. 9:16, we'll talk about Aiden Hutchinson, and then 9:30, we'll preview the garbage that's going to be on TV tonight, Thursday Night Football, Chicago Bears and Carolina Panthers. Of course. But first, before we start, how you doing, Sam Flannel?
I'm good.
With the flannel, by the way.
Yes, I am back with the flannel, so I guess all is now right in the world. I mean, I was a little disappointed that the Pistons couldn't come away with a win last night, but it is all well and good. You know what'll make me feel a lot better? A nice Michigan win at Penn State and a Lions win against the Chargers. But you know what? Always happy to do a show with the boys. When we got the regular crew here with a couple of great guests, it is always a good day. And of course, getting to spend some time with with all of you in the chat, it is always a good day, like Ice Cube says.
Oh, always. Today will be a good day,
Today's a good day.
per Ice Cube. JB, how you feeling? You got the match. You got the Jameson whiskey hat with the Woodward hoodie. How you feeling this morning, my man?
I would be a lot better if Giannis would have got those 5 extra points. But
Oh, you had it too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This just sucks. But, hey, at least the Pistons came close last night, although it did take Giannis getting ejected for them to get that close, but still.
Yeah, Damian Lillard still had 30. You know what's funny? I was thinking about betting on one of them to get 30, and I was leaning Damian, but then I'm like, man, Giannis has to get 30. But then the technical, and then he got 30 anyway. It was ridiculous. It was a weird game. We'll have Kool-Aid on, like I said, to kind of break it down. But Lucas Klotz, how you feeling?
Oh, we are here, baby. Fun night last night. Had a little datey poo.
You did.
Went pretty
Yay!
successful. Feeling good. Didn't get too much sleep, but you know, when you wake up, you feel that 32 fucking degree weather air now. It's after it's raining, wakes you up. But happy to be here.
Of course you didn't get a lot of sleep, Lucas, right?
Yeah.
Up all night. Animal. Bought a TV too.
Man got
Bought a
weak.
TV.
That man
Happy
got,
man.
Man got weak legs coming into the morning show. I don't know. Hey, love is something, man. And you say, hey, love made you buy a TV. Not that you weren't going to buy it anyway, but it sped up the process, I heard.
Exactly. It's because they were giving me shit in the chat. I was there. I told her, I was like, I want to buy a TV. And she's like, buy the TV. And I was like, oh, God. And I was like, you just put me on the spot. And I was like, yeah, I can't fold now. I can't fold now. Sped up the process.
You got to flex a little bit and be like, you know what? You're right. I'll buy this TV right now.
Exactly. I can buy this TV. I can easily afford this TV right now. Let me show you.
Yeah. Show us. Booner in the chat says, man did not just say datey poo. He did.
I did.
He did.
Shout out Trailer Park Boys.
And you'll stand on that business. Yeah, shout out Trailer Park Boys. One of the greatest TV shows. One of the shows that I got into really late. One of my buddies loves it, and it's funny as hell, man. It's a good show. Yeah, it's a funny ass show.
J-Rock's iconic.
Yeah, he really is. Paul Thomas says, just don't buy her a TV,
fuck.
Lucas.
No.
Okay, well, there you go. Okay.
That's where we crossed the line.
All right,
Not
that's fair.
happening.
That's fair. John says, morning, yo. The thumbnail is perfect. Yeah, the thumbnail is fire. Shout out to Ryan for that. Freddie Felt 313, man. Welcome to the show, Freddie. He says, Lucas, chick knower. Yeah, that's fair. Robert Lane, morning show #1 in my power rankings. Well, we appreciate you, Robert. I know Big D Energy did the show rankings yesterday, and it was funny. I can't even lie to you. Like, D-Mac didn't even have us on the list at all. Listen, we're not going to, it's fine. If they want to do it, it's funny. I thought it was hilarious, Sam Flannel. I didn't take anything personal of it. I'm not going to make a list and put Big D Energy off my list. They're a fine program, 11-1.
No, I mean,
they're a fine program.
I don't take offense to it, but I don't think it was funny. I thought it was dumb.
Oh my God! Well, Sam, that's still that Big D Energy hate you have a little bit.
I don't have big deal. I mean, I grew up on that show, but you know, it's all well and good. I know they were taking a little backhanded shot at us. It's okay.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay. We don't take the shots back. Listen, it's a one-way street for Big D Energy. We love them. Listen, D-Mac, Neil, Spenny, all that's cool, but Big D Energy is a great show.
It's a great show.
It's a great show.
Even better when they show signs of insecurity.
Ooh, that's fair.
Very fair.
that's fair. Herb, yeah, damn's right. Mike G says, Jeff, the Woody Show didn't even make top 3. Oh yeah, that's tough. I saw Woodward in Maine made the cut, huh? All right, let's move on.
Legend killer.
Legend killer. All right, let's get to some of the things that's been happening. Of course, we'll recap the Pistons and Bucks game with Kool-Aid. We'll save that for 8:15 when he joins us. But in other news, Detroit Lions news, Dan Campbell met with the media yesterday. And do you have some of the clips?
Which one you want?
Just play whatever. We'll react to them, and then we'll get to the Graham Glasgow stuff because right on cue, we talked about him yesterday. But here's Dan Campbell speaking to the media.
They're playing pretty good football, particularly these last 2 games. You know, defensively, they're playing pretty good. So we know it's going to be a challenge, and we're going to have to be efficient, stay ahead of the sticks, and you know, it's really a dangerous team in that regard on offense and defense. You know, so you know we can't play their game. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. You know, we're always assessing Big V. You know, and V's still working at it, but Graham's, you know, certainly Graham has been productive for us, and he's been productive in 3 different spots. I mean, left guard, center, and then certainly right guard before that. So he's been a big asset for us. I mean, he that was a good signing for us to get, and you know, fortunate to have him. So he's a steady, reliable piece for us. We've been able to overcome him, I mean, we're sitting here at a zero margin right now, which isn't good enough. We got to be better than that. But it will be everything, because this team has proven that when they get these takeaways, they're very dangerous. Because they have a potent offense, and they have a defense that's able to. They're creating them, right? So it's going to be very important, particularly on the road. So we got to take care of the football, but not at the expense of being uptight and, we still got to play our game, so, but there again, it's particularly ball security. There's things that you're not always going to be able to control. They're the nature of the game, and those happen. But, man, the ones that we know we can, the way you carry the football, right, just golf, talking about the throws, when to throw it, when to not, and how just those little things are important. But we don't ever want to take away our aggressiveness and the way that we attack either.
You mentioned that.
There's nobody I'm more happier, Sam Flannel, than Graham Glasgow. That's a guy that you signed, like I said yesterday. It's about the contract, dude. I mean, 1 year, $2.75 million. A dude who can play 3 different positions on your offensive line and be a top 5 guard in this league.
Yeah.
With what he's making is incredible. Shout out to Brad Holmes and Graham Glasgow.
Oh yeah, I mean, as I said yesterday, and I think you, if you would have had your first choice and I didn't steal it, you'd have chosen Graham Glasgow as the unsung hero, and I did as well. And here's the thing, and this isn't meant to be a shot at Vaitai or Big V, whatever you want to call him. Vaitai has not been reliable for this team. He obviously had a bad back injury last year. He had a knee injury this season. But Graham Glasgow has been as reliable as they come, and he's filled in pretty much every single role that they've needed him in, even doing a serviceable job at center. So yeah, Graham Glasgow has been one of the most valuable members of the team, and I truly believe that if you just had a regular old, even if you had Evan Brown, if you had John Skipper, this is an offensive line that injuries would have hurt them a lot more than they have this year, because they have a high-level starter as their backup. Hell, do we even want to see Vaitai on the field over Graham Glasgow at this point? Not trying to be a dick, I'm just saying. Graham Glasgow, by the numbers, has been better than Jonah Jackson and Vaitai.
And when you bring up Vaitai, you bring up Glasgow, you bring up Dan Skipper, I mean, hell, even Sorsdahl and what he's been doing as a rookie. I think the unsung hero you could bring up is Hank Fraley.
Sure.
For what he's been doing with that offensive line unit. I mean, those guys, you take somebody out, you put somebody in, they're still able to produce it at least to the level, somewhat to the level of what they do when fully healthy. So that's credit to coaching. But this comment I want to read too. Danny G says, Lucas can keep balls very secure now. In this one too. That's what he said. So I don't know if that's true.
I don't know how to respond to that one.
Yeah, is that true? I don't know. Phil says ball security practiced by Lucas last night.
I could see that. I could see the ball security one.
There's some truth to that.
Didn't quite score, but we're getting closer. We're marching down the field.
Yeah.
We're taking a 2-minute drill drive right now. We're just not quite in the red zone.
It's all right.
The 2-minute drill drop.
Like breaking the playoff with 2 minutes left.
That was a great drop.
Jesse
baby.
says, I woke up at 5 a.m. for the show, LFG. Man, Jesse, shout out to you. You must be West Coast then, because that is incredible. So the commitment we appreciate.
Thank
5
you.
a.m., man. That's the morning crew. That like 8 a.m. is the morning crew, but 5 a.m. like you're built different. Waking up at 5 a.m. Matt just said
The red zone is crazy. That is.
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah, he's right though. The red zone is crazy.
We'll call it the money zone. We'll call it the money zone.
Yeah, at least that one. That one at least kind of works.
I didn't think about that. That was a good one.
This one, Matt says, did Lucas just admit he only lasts 2 minutes?
I mean, that's not what I was admitting, but I cannot confirm or deny that either.
Hey, Lucas, a win's a win.
A win's a win.
Win's a win.
Win's a win.
Doesn't matter how
Ain't no shame in my game.
Nope. No, there's not.
It's honest work. It's not much, but it's honest work.
Yeah, it's honest work.
Gritty. Tough nose performance.
Yeah. There's a reason why he's the ball knower, but he's the ball knower. Mm-hmm.
Hey.
It is what it is.
IQ.
High IQ. It's like a draft profile of Lucas Klotz. It's mentioned in there. Finds the end zone often.
Not the most physically gifted, but makes up for it with his hard work and dedication.
There you go.
Sounds like TK85 if you're telling me, if I'm being honest with you.
No Donovan Peoples-Jones, I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Kennedy! Alec G says 2 minutes with all your timeouts. Yeah, you got all timeouts too, Lucas. So hey, that's a favorable position to be in for Lucas Klotz. It's a favorable position. Let's see. John Lord says, Lucas flea flicker Laporta style.
Hey. Now that's a score.
Oh, that's funny. Shout out to Parker Brown, by the way, showing love too. He's in the chat as well. E&E, the final word, who actually made the cut as well on a couple of those lists.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's fine. Top 5 shows, it's all good. I don't make the list. It is what it is. Those guys have a fine show as well, 2 to 4 p.m. Weekdays. You guys know where to find them. And I know Rodney says Sasser, which, trust me, we're going to get into Sasser actually right now when we go to break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the game itself. Kool-Aid's running a little bit late. I texted him late, so it's my bad. I was like, hey, you trying to join the show at like 7:30, and he's trying to make it down here. So we'll have him on, but we'll get into the game in a little bit here. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at Hamlin Pub, because, guys, especially for game day this weekend, there's no place I'd rather be than Hamlin frickin' Pub. You go over there, starting at $8. You got game day specials, every NFL game, Michigan sports, and guys, half off pizza on Thursdays. And like I said, the game day specials, it's the place, Hamlin Pub. Visit location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports. We'll see you guys right after the break.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market and Shed number 5, and it is always a bash. The next one is going to be Sunday, November 19th. And it's going to start from 9:30 a.m. until game time, getting us all ready for the Lions' big matchup against the Chicago Bears. I will be at the tailgate and the game. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
It was quite the game yesterday. Pistons took on the Milwaukee Bucks. On paper, definitely, I would say the second best team in the East. Obviously, defensively, they've had issues with Damian Lillard now losing Drew Holiday. They're just not the same team defensively, but they definitely have more offensive talent. There's no doubt about that. You watch the game, it was weird. I mean, the first quarter was close. And then as the game kind of went on there, especially in the second quarter, the Milwaukee Bucks just took the lead. And going into halftime, I'm sitting there going, yeah, this could get ugly very quickly. It just could. You had Cade Cunningham, who's playing really well. He kind of quieted down, though, in the second half. He had like 28 going into the third quarter, late in the third quarter, and then he didn't really score much into the fourth quarter and had a late turnover that kind of cost him the game, which, again, that's a problem. He had 5 more turnovers yesterday, which, again, that's your star player. He's got to be held accountable. That can't happen. It just can't. And that's the thing, too, about this team is they're still trying to get over this hump of closing games. Like, they came back. They scored 43 in the third. They scored 23 at least in the fourth quarter to make it a close game. They had an opportunity to win the game like twice. It came up short. It is what it is. There are things to take away from the game. It is disappointing. They're 2-7 as of right now. And you don't want to see that. This is a team that we talk about all the time. You want to see them win 30 wins. That's the goal this year, and there's no way around it. Even without Ivy, Joe Harris, Alec Burks, all that stuff, you had Roden and all those guys playing, it shouldn't matter. The fact that they did come back, though, I do give credit to that team because they could have easily quit. I mean, you're down, again, going into the second half, and they still were able to claw back. So that gets credit, but how they finished, though, just can't happen. I mean, Marcus Sasser had a 22-point half, the second half. He was cooking. He had 22 points, 9 of 13, 3 of 6 from 3. His shot creation is incredible. Like, when you watch Marcus Sasser, he is the definition of a bucket. A bucket. You give the ball to Sasser, you let him go get a bucket. That's what he's been doing. And by the way, another Troy Weaver draft pick. Just like
I know. Very good.
Late first round pick.
Very good.
Very good.
I want to ask.
Not as good as Stan Van Gundy, though.
I don't know. I was going to ask, would Van Gundy have found him?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering. And there's a reason why. Like, Marcus Sasser is a great example of why I think Troy Weaver, post 2000, is the best draft talent evaluator you had for the Pistons. Now, as a GM, Joe Dumars, I'll give the edge. I mean, the guy won a championship. He made 7 consecutive Eastern Conference Finals. You can't take that away from Joe Dumars. He was incredible with that. But with Troy, he's got to get the other stuff right. Like the free agency stuff, we're going to see this offseason. You're going to have money available. It's not just in free agency, but via trade. He has to improve this team. There's no doubt about it. So he's still kind of held to the fire, but just his job finding talent. Marcus Sasser is a stud, man.
Sure.
He really is. And that was one of my bigger takeaways of the game. Asar Thompson, defensive, he's a pest. Again, last night, what he did, over 12 rebounds.
I can't stand the people
15
that
rebounds,
are
excuse
freaking
me.
out about him looking at his shooting. Like people that are like, "Oh, look at his shooting! And how can he be a star?"
Yeah, and that was the thing too. And again, people, Real Cream of Wheat says Duren too. He had another double-double. Duren's back. So again, things you like to see. But yeah, Asar Thompson and his shooting, that's something. And by the way, go check Amon Thompson. He's actually better at this point. He's playing more minutes and he's more impactful. And Amon was drafted before him. So at this point, Asar, Pistons are happy to have him. And what he's been doing defensively, like he's had multiple games with 3 or more steals. He's had multiple games with 3 blocks. Like, he's incredible. And he had another 15 rebounds. He out-rebounded Duren and had 3 offensive rebounds. But, Sam, I think my biggest takeaway from that game is it's disappointing to lose. It is. It was impressive they clawed back despite they could have easily just hit the eject button and quit, but they clawed back. Cade Cunningham can't turn the ball over, but Marcus Sasser was my biggest takeaway. He's a guy that you can't take him out of this rotation. You can't. Even when Monty gets back, you just can't.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of takeaways from this game, but of course I'm going to start with the most positive, which of course is Marcus Sasser. He might turn out to be as good of a value pick from the last draft as you're going to find. I think he certainly has been so far in terms of where he was drafted. I mean, you've got people who were drafted ahead of him who haven't even seen the court in the NBA yet. And Marcus Sasser, if he keeps it up at this rate, and I don't know if he'll get all the usage, especially when guys like Monte Morris come back, but if he keeps up this pace, he will get some votes for Rookie of the Year. I don't think he'll actually be in the race, but he will certainly get some votes, and he was great last night. There's nothing you can say about him. And when it comes to the actual game, closing games is something that young teams like the Pistons they struggle to do. And many, many things can be true. It was impressive that the way they were able to come back, but I do think the only reason why they did come back is because Giannis was ejected, and Giannis is one of the best in the world right now. But I do love the way that the Pistons pretty much immediately, once Giannis went out, went on a run. They got to a point where I believe in the middle of the fourth quarter where the lead was fluctuating between about 8 and 10, which brings you to... Man, that could have been one that the Pistons could have stolen last night. I mean, in many ways, Cade Cunningham played a great game. But the problem was something which has been a problem with him in the past is his turnovers and his three-point shooting. But he played a great game. I mean, even his three-point shooting at the end, when the score was 119 to 115, Cade Cunningham hit the three to cut it from 4-1, which gave the Pistons then a chance to win. But then in their first chance to win, Cade Cunningham threw the ball away. So you live by the Cade, you die by the Cade, but at the same time, I think he played very, very well. This is a team, I think, what I saw is that they can still win 30 games. They can still kind of have a successful season. They let one slip away a little bit, but I'm not going to get too mad. They did... That's the thing. Giannis, he probably shouldn't have been ejected, but the fact that he was, the Pistons took advantage. Yeah, they just couldn't close it off.
By the way, Isaiah Stewart, and this is the thing. Isaiah Stewart on the court, he's been playing well. I know last night didn't shoot great from 3, but he's been pretty solid all season.
Yeah.
But the stuff he does on the court, just pissing off people, I love it. I love that. And he got Giannis. So first he was going at it with Jay Crowder, started a little beef there. But that is a definition of a bad boy. That's a guy that you want in Detroit. He just fits what they're looking for.
Clip that, JV.
What?
Keep going. Definition of a bad boy.
Bad Detroit Piston. He's a Piston.
Just be good for a clip.
You guys always got to flip it, don't you?
Bad boy for life.
Yeah, thank you. You bunch of sickos. But he really is. I love the mentality he plays with. Sorry to interrupt you, Sam.
No,
but
I was pretty much done. And into the whole Isaiah Stewart thing, I don't value that as much as some. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he pretty much bullied him on that play, which he did. But at the same time, Giannis, even when he was in the game, he wasn't having his best. I mean, 6 of 16. It's not like he was dominating or anything. So, but the Bucks still had I believe a double-digit lead when he went out. But the fact that they were even able to hold him when he was on the court to a less than Giannis style game, I think was impressive. There's more good than bad to take away from this game, but if they would have won, I would have been ecstatic. I'm still encouraged. Encouraged, I think, is the right word.
They keep shooting themselves in the foot, which, again, it's a young team, but that just can't. There has to be a point where that stops.
Yeah.
Like, closing games is important. And it's not just and Eric Allen, you can't blame the loss on that one turnover. And I'm not.
Agreed.
It's not the one turnover. They had multiple opportunities. The turnover was just a part of that. But they have to get over that hump of closing games. Like that's what they're missing, Sam. I mean, they out-rebounded the Milwaukee Bucks. They out-rebounded them. Offensive rebounds, they had double more than the Milwaukee Bucks. They out-rebounded them defensively. But then you look at the turnovers, they had 19 to the Milwaukee Bucks 10. Like the turnovers are killing them, especially when they're down. Not all turnovers are made equal.
Yeah.
That's fair because down the stretch they were much more detrimental. It just can't happen. They have to get over that. And I'll ask Kool-Aid about that when he joins the show later. But just shooting themselves in the foot, man, that's what's keeping them from trying to get to 30 wins. And we'll see. Maybe over the season they stop doing that. But that was the big part of last night. It was a great effort. They fought like hell. But ultimately, they ended up shooting themselves in the foot. It just can't happen, especially for a young team, man. That's part of the growing process, and hopefully that kind of clicks sooner than later. Eric Allen, so many offensive fouls at the end of the game that were garbage calls that cost the game. That in the game, turning the ball over hurt a lot as well. Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Katz, that's a bad take by Jeff. Detroit didn't lose because of turnovers. Well, I mean, they had double the turnovers. Detroit lost because they shot 24% from the three-point line. Well, buddy, I would check the stats because Milwaukee shot 29.6. So, okay, anyway, they both didn't shoot well. So I don't think that matters. But anyway, they had double the turnovers, which is, especially when you're getting points off turnovers, which I think they have that too. Which Milwaukee Bucks, it just, again, you can't have double the turnovers of your opponent, especially for a team like that. It can't happen. Let's go to break. We come back. We'll get into our interview with John McEnroe because it is Thursdays with the Doc, and we'll get into the game this weekend, some of the storylines coming out, all that and much more. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet.
Of course, when it comes to your pet, don't settle. I don't settle when it comes to my golden retriever Jake and my orange cat Milo. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. Absolutely. Great name. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Dick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Centron Energy Drink It and Live It sweepstakes. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter for your chance to win. Register at drinkcentron.com/Vegas and buy Centron at your local Meijer store. Centron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself. Once again, that website, drinkcentron.com/Vegas.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you do me a favor, hit the like button on the stream. We're at 64, I believe, right now. Let's get those likes up for John Macroom because he is joining the show. John Macroom, publisher, All Lions, and, of course, the host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. Our good friend of the show, John. How you feeling this morning, man? How you doing?
I'm feeling great after the bye. Can you all hear me?
And John, I want to ask you too about this Sunday because it's a super interesting game because you have a Chargers team whose back's against the wall. They're 500. And of course, a couple weeks ago, we'd be looking at this game a little different than we are now from how they've been playing. But your thoughts on the matchup? They're getting a lot of guys back healthy. David Montgomery, you're going to have a full offensive line healthy. Graham Glasgow just got the start, so big ups to him. But your thoughts on the matchup? And the question I have for you is, who has a bigger game on Sunday? Who needs to? Is it Herbert or is it Jared Goff?
Yeah, absolutely. After the bye week, the Lions have big goals. They're on their path to secure the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. And I think coming out of the bye week relatively healthy, it bodes very well for the Lions. I just think that when you look at the opportunity to play the Chargers, you look at a coach in Brandon Staley who sometimes makes the key critical error late in the games. Real interesting that that's a coach that potentially is on the hottest seat in the NFL. Maybe a potential scouting opportunity for Lions OC Ben Johnson to look at what team could I potentially be coaching next year. Could it be Justin Herbert? I look at this matchup as an opportunity for the Lions to come out and really exert what they do well. I think that when Dan Campbell spoke to the media earlier, looking at the self-scout, looking at areas of improvement, I want to see how the Lions perform in the red zone. While the Chargers defense has been playing better, you got to look at who they have been playing. The Jets offense is complete ass. It's one of the worst offenses, I think, in the history of the NFL with Zach Wilson, and it's a head scratcher why Robert Saleh continues to put out an offense like that in front of a national stage, and it's such an embarrassing to embarrass the organization. But I look at the Lions, and they have an opportunity to take advantage in the passing game. You're right. I think Jared Goff's going to have a great opportunity to play very well. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Montgomery, and Gibbs all have an opportunity to play at a high level on the road at SoFi Stadium. I think the Lions are going to show out and have a good performance.
John, we can hear you. That is, we can definitely confirm that. And you kind of mentioned some things about the Chargers. The Chargers consistently are as confusing of a team and organization as I've seen maybe in my lifetime. They have so much high-end talent. I would argue more high-end talent than even the Detroit Lions, but they're clearly the inferior team. So who are the Chargers players that Lions players should key in on? Who can the Lions not let beat them specifically?
Oh, this is great. The audience can hear me, but you can't. I can say whatever. This would be great. But I look at the Chargers. Yes, you have to respect your opponent. I think the first player that's been targeted by the Lions on the Chargers offense is number 13, Keenan Allen. I think that he's a veteran player that is the key target that Justin Herbert trusts. And then you look at, obviously, Austin Eckler. I think that when you turn on the tape, you see a player that can really take it and really expose defenses rather quickly, a savvy veteran. So I would keen in on Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. And then for the Lions offensive line, which is great because they're all coming back healthy, like you guys had said, 5 returning starting offensive linemen that I think are going to play well. I think you have to really pay attention to the edges in Bosa and Khalil Mack. If you're able to really block well and keep Jared Goff clean, then you're going to have an opportunity to make to have your goals really take place out there on the road. But you just can't let Bosa wreck the game. If he gets in the grill of Jared Goff, that could wreck a lot of things for the Lions.
And I'm glad you said that, John, because I kind of talked about this yesterday. I think this game will be dictated in the trenches. I think the most important part of this game is the defensive line for the Lions getting after Herbert. Obviously not to the extent the Jets did, because that defense is insane. But regardless, in the offensive line protecting Jared. And, of course, the flip-flop side of that, of Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. I mean, those guys, Khalil's a little older, but still, they're playing at a high level. Is that fair to say that I think that this game overall will be dictated? Because we know the Chargers' pass defense is bad. Jared Goff should be able to cook them up a little bit. He's returning home to SoFi Stadium. But is that fair to say this game will be dictated up front for both teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great that David Montgomery returns, because I think that bodes well for Jared Goff, opening up the play action opportunities. I want to see David Montgomery continue to earn the tough yards. I hope that the lingering rib cartilage issue doesn't flare up. I mean, it's super tough when you see, obviously, when a player is returning, the Chargers defense should keen in on trying to take out David Montgomery. But you have an opportunity now to see the 1-2 punch of Montgomery and Gibbs. And I'm really excited to see what this new offensive line looks like with the Lions. And I think that when you see Graham Glasgow and what he's done, a veteran that deserves his kudos, an opportunity for him to play at 3 different spots to start the year, filling in for injury. And I think he is an upgrade over Big V. So I expect to see opportunities for David Montgomery to obviously earn 4 to 5 yards per carry. And that really opens things up for the Lions. If they can be ahead of the sticks, if they can clean up the mistakes that they've made in the red zone, if they can score touchdowns instead of settling for field goals, this game has an opportunity to get out of hand early for the Lions. And I think it's going to be an opportunity for them to get their 7th victory and really extend their lead in the NFC North. Because even though the Vikings have, issues at quarterback, they still are a team that's gritty and has found ways to win. So they're not just going to go away. So it would really be important for the Lions to get this W.
And another question we had, Donovan Peoples-Jones, a Detroit native out of Caz Tech. Do we expect to see him return, make his debut this week? Because I know you really don't expect to see a player play the first week after trade, especially offensively. But with the bye week, do you think there's any chance that we see him out there, or you still think they're going to hold him off for a little bit?
I think there's an opportunity to see him, but in a limited role. I just think that obviously it was interesting to see that he was listed as limited on the first team injury report that was released on Wednesday. We'll get a chance to see over the next couple days. But Dan Campbell said this is a big week for Donovan Peoples-Jones in regards to acclimating, learning about the system. And even if he's out there, I would see him probably less than maybe 15 snaps. I don't think he's going to get a bulk of targets or have a big responsibility his first week. But at the same time, when he does get out there, I'm excited to see what potential he does have to help this offense. Look, in the end, you want to see the collection of wide receivers really take the next step in the second half of the year. Among the biggest goals for the Lions is really taking strides to improve on offense. And if you can continue to move the chains and you have a reliable target in Donovan Peoples-Jones combined with St. Brown, combined with Sam Laporta, and then Jamo taking whatever strides that he needs to take to get involved in this offense, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm curious as well to see how Jameson looks. Do they get him more involved, like Herman Moore said? Do they figure out the timing issues? Because everyone's looking at the film and saying, well, if you give him short passes, that's where he needs to be the most crisp. So whatever you can get out of Jameson is a bonus, but Donovan Peoples-Jones adds another layer of options for this offense. And the more options you have, the better off it's going to be. I think it was a savvy trade, but I don't think it's going to pay dividends early. I think they're looking for the dividends to pay off late in the season.
Hey, John. Speaking of, you mentioned Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm going to ask this question. So, John, do you think it's more set up for the Lions' running game to have a big day, their passing game, or do you think this can just be a total offensive masterclass, or none?
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely love the way in which the Lions offense has options. You can play any kind of style that you want when everybody's healthy. That's why this is key. Everybody's back. I think early on you want on the road to kind of weather the storm. So I would expect to see David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs utilized early, keeping the chains moving and really controlling the time of possession. But at the same time, you have such great weapons on offense outside for Jared Goff. I expect that the clear when you look at the Chargers defense, it clearly struggles against the pass. So I expect Sam Laporta, I expect Amon-Ra St. Brown, really in your fantasy league, start them, no doubt. And also, I give credit, I think in the second half of the year, Josh Reynolds is going to continue to eat and feast. I think he's a player that is going to be definitely utilized quite a bit and really is a key third down target, moves the chains, can be a player that you can kind of extend the field with. So I think the offense can really has a lot of options at their disposal. But this offense is predicated on the run. I think they established that early, because when you establish the run, that's how Jared Goff starts to cook later in the game. And so I expect the Lions to really put up some offensive numbers out there on the road. Ideal conditions, I think the hunger that they have. And another player that I want to see eat this week, it's got to be Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden's got to cook. 4.5 sacks is not good enough. Very good pressure rate. I'm not saying that, he's been a disappointment, but the man's got to cook. The man's got to light up Justin Herbert and really allow the defense to get that football back. I want to see Aiden Hutchinson with 2 or 3 sacks this week. Put Justin Herbert on the ground. The Cali boy needs to kind of eat the turf this week.
And John, too, about the Aiden Hutchinson point you just made. And I agree with you, by the way. I think it's time for Aiden to get back into the sack column and start getting production, because we know he can do it. But the other part of that defensive line, John, is there anybody else? Because I think Julian Okwara is the interesting one, because he's like 40-something snaps and has 2 sacks or whatever it is. Who else on that defensive line? Of course, Aleem McNeil is having a pretty good year. But last week against the Raiders, it was more, before the bye week, was more by committee, getting after the quarterback. Who is it this week besides Aiden and Aleem that you expect to step up? Or will it be a get to the quarterback by committee once again?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where this all begins, is that teams have figured out, okay, let's give attention extra to Aiden Hutchinson. And he is getting the bulk of attention from the offensive line, getting double teamed, getting held repeatedly, but he's got to fight through that. All the greats fight through the double teams and still earn their numbers. But with that said, there's opportunities for Josh Pascal, opportunities for John Kaminsky, who I think has an opportunity to get some love and attention this week. But a player that I asked about this week to the coaching staff has been Charles Harris. This is a veteran defensive captain, and he's a guy that obviously has kind of not been there in regards to the numbers when you look at pass rush win rates and things like that. So I asked the defensive line coach, John Scott Jr., hey, how did he handle getting benched? I mean, defensive captains typically don't get benched, but against the Ravens, I could see where you maybe not want to use Charles Harris. I think the second half of the year is going to be key for the veteran. I think he's a player that everybody respects, but he's got to do more. And in a game where it could have the potential to be close, any opportunity you can to pressure the quarterback. Because if you let Justin Herbert survey the landscape and handle business, that's another guy that's a real interesting. I'm curious to see how he performs, because when he has opportunities, he can extend plays. He's savvy. And man, when you look at Justin Herbert, I do give him credit. He stands in there and takes a pounding. He's not afraid of staring pressure in the face. So I do believe I'm looking at Charles Harris and, like you said, Julian Okwara at the same time when he gets in those sub packages to get in and handle business too. He's been an interesting player in that he comes in spurts, but just hasn't been that consistent pass rusher. I'm not certain that that's the reason why they didn't go out and get another edge rusher for the Lions. I do think they like what they have. I just don't think they wanted to pay upwards of $90 million plus to another player when they have so many options much more affordably.
Good stuff, John. I appreciate you for joining the show. I know you got a lot of stuff to do. You got a lot of books behind you. You got to read. I mean, you got things you got to do. So, but good work, John. You can find John, by the way, for all the people listening. You guys know Thursdays with John McEnroe. But again, publisher of All Lions, host of the Detroit Sports Podcast, Detroit Sports Podcast on Twitter. Thanks for joining the show, John. We appreciate you every single week, more than you know.
Definitely. I'm certainly busy, but never too busy to check in on the #1 show on this network. There's no way in hell any respectable list is put out and doesn't put you two guys on it, because, hey, you guys are here every morning. You guys know how tough it is to set the table in the morning. Neil and Lindsay and Darren, they're great, but they're never there. So when I tune in, there could be 2 new guys every single day. You guys are consistent. You handle business. And look, let's be honest, you guys hold it down and do a good job. You put me on the show, so that puts you #1 in my mind forever and a day.
Let's go, John! That's what I'm talking about! I'm telling you, John is a real one. We appreciate you, John. That is big time, by the way. We got the John McEnroe stamp right there. It's
a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog. That's a ball knower. We know what time it is. All right, appreciate you, John. Have a good one. We'll see you next Thursday, man. Enjoy your weekend. All right, guys. Thank you, man. John. Yeah. By the way, he didn't have to do that. All right.
No,
I didn't pay John to say that. I didn't give him any Condor-Stallion, Venmo. That was all him. That was all him.
Damn.
And Detroit Supremacy says the glazing is crazy. Well, no, John doesn't typically do that. So listen, John, real one, we appreciate you. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into more about the Detroit Lions. If Kool-Aid's here, maybe we could get right into the Pistons discussion. We'll save the Lions for a little bit later. But again, before we do that, we got to hear about our friends from Planet Fitness. So let me tell you about them. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone where anybody, and we mean anybody, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that's got tons of equipment, full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You'll get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, Planet Fitness is close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. We'll see you guys right after the break.
Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and of course dry aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab and go steaks, or order online at fairwaypacking.com.
Get your meats.
Get your meats. Or beef. I mean, John McEnroe wants the beef, dude. I love.
Hey, yeah, guess who? Speaking of the point where he's like Neil, D-Mac, never there. Guess who's filling in for Neil today at 12:30? He's got somewhere to be.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
We love our audience on Morning Woodward Show. Whether you support us or not, we'll be in these seats.
We will. Unless I have surgery.
Yeah, unless you're getting your tonsils out, unless I get a blood clot. Unless there's a major thing.
Yeah, which I'm physically unable to be here, but I'm here, man. I love what I do. Speaking of another human being that I love besides John McEnroe, and he's the GOAT, but another GOAT is Detroit Kool-Aid, Brandon Dent.
Oh,
are
you guys caught me looking up Killian Hayes' stats for the last game.
Oh, no. Kool-Aid, how you feeling this morning coming off yesterday? I kind of said it earlier. For a team like that's missing so many, was missing a lot of guys that played minutes. I appreciate the fight, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot. That's kind of been the storyline.
Man.
He had doubled the turnovers almost in the Bucks last night. You just can't do it.
Yeah, especially with Giannis getting kicked out the game. I know Dame Lillard is still a fantabulous player, but I think what you saw yesterday was a team that has experience and a squad like the Pistons who are trying to gain that type of experience. Kay Cunningham talked about who he needs to be at the end of games and that he's still learning that. You know, it's been 86, 87, 88 games for him now. Missed a lot of time last year, and I see these guys, they have the fight, but they don't necessarily have the experience. That's what I see going on with these Pistons. And I think that the young guys, you look at it right now, they're playing basically everybody that's on rookie contracts right now except for Beef Stew. That's going to make a difference.
Now, what about Cade? Because again, he's the guy, and with that comes criticism. And Cade's been playing really well, but you cannot turn the. He's up there in turnovers in the league. He might be. I don't know if he's first, but he's up there. Had 5 more yesterday. Yeah. I don't know if that's just something that personally he's just dealing with. He'll get over. It's a bug. What is it with Cade? And is this something you're concerned about at this point in time, or is it something you think he'll get over with? Because personally, if you're turning the ball over like that, maybe it's too much responsibility on Cade Cunningham. I mean, you can't. He's taken, and by the way, he'll get 30 points, but it's the amount of shots he's taking too. Like he'll get 30 on like 25 shots, and he does a really good job. Typically, we watch Cade on picking spots, but being more efficient and not turning the ball over are the two things that Cade just has to improve on. It's a short sample size, but it hasn't been great.
Listen, one of the things we talked about as it relates to Jeremy Grant. We thought that we were missing his defense the most. But what we're seeing right now is that Cade Cunningham needs a legit number 2. Not just somebody like Killian Hayes who can kind of bring the ball up sometimes, kind of play make and set him up. But Jeremy Grant was somebody that could go out there and pop off for an easy 20 to 30 points a game when he was here with the Detroit Pistons, as well as play point forward, as well as play like long stretches of the game as the man. That allowed Cade Cunningham to realistically focus a lot of his energies on being the best player he could be at the end of those games. He looked fresher during his freshman year, during his the rookie season. Yep. And I think that's when you're talking about Troy Weaver assessing what this team needs, you have to get Cade Cunningham help. Even when the vets come back, Monty Morris is the one vet that I believe can help to stabilize some of that, but even then, he's not like this tandem scorer with Cade Cunningham. That's what we wanted to see out of Jaden Ivey. We thought that Jaden Ivey, we said it all last season when we saw him get going, we saw it during the summer, that we believe Jaden Ivey could help to relieve some of that scoring pressure, some of that offensive pressure on Cade. Right now, because we saw his usage up when he was playing with Jeremy Grant, but he didn't have as much responsibility. That's what's going on right now, is that he has to do everything. He has to score, he has to play make, he has to be clutch, and he's still getting reacclimated to NBA speed. It's not a good mix when you're playing with only guys that are realistically on their rookie contracts.
And also, it's crazy. I mean, missing Bojan, Alec Burks, Joe Harris, Monty. Those are 40% shooters, and Livers about a 38% three-point shooter. They miss a lot of shooting, but Sam, go ahead.
Yes, well, unlike the other day, I'm actually going to take it to positive town right now. Yeah, take it to positive town.
No Van Gundy?
Yay,
man,
no Van Gundy.
I wore my fighting shirt, though.
You got a Goku shirt on.
Because I am a well-rounded and objective observer. And, well, I am a Pistons fan. But you know what? I'll just get to my question and stop bloviating. All right, so Marcus Sasser was obviously, I would say, the story of last night when it comes to the Detroit Pistons. And just as an overall question, is there any chance, and this would be a hell of an accomplishment for Troy Weaver and for those players, is there any chance that both Marcus Sasser and Asar Thompson make either the all-rookie first or second team?
I believe it's a great opportunity, great chance for them to do it. Asar Thompson's definitely on his way.
15 rebounds, Kool-Aid? Come on. 3 offensive?
Holly Berry in church or the grocery store, bro. Like,
yeah,
that's
he was
what
spot
Troy
on
Weaver
with
stated.
that, too.
He said, listen, there's a big hit in this draft. He said that beforehand. We talked about it on this show with you and with Sam. We talked about it before the draft last year, and we said we think that Asar Thompson is that guy, even though we liked some of the other players. I don't know what's going on with Cam Whitmore right now, but that's a whole nother story. But Marcus Sasser, that's somebody that, honestly, I thought he could come in and be kind of this heady type of guard. He was a little bit older. He played 4 years in college. He was a defensive guy and a three-point shooter, a combo guard. But, Jeff, you said it. You told me last year after we drafted him, you said he's a dog.
Yeah.
He's an absolute dog. And when we saw him put up the 40 in Summer League, we were like, all right, he got some skills. But what we're seeing him do right now is, I didn't know that was possible this early in his career. Nobody can defend him. No one can really stay in front of him. And the way he can create space and shoot, it's just what a heck of a
He's the
pick.
best shot creator on the team.
I would agree with that right now.
Like,
I definitely would.
It's crazy.
And it's like Cade, they talked about not dribbling into the crowd for him.
Mm-hmm.
Sasser just finds way to the crowd doesn't matter because my handles do. That's Marcus Sasser. I hope that both of these guys continue at this clip, and they should find themselves at the very least similar to Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren last year, making at least the second team all-rookie.
Ooh, second year in a row. That would be the second year in a row. See? Bravo, Troy Weaver.
Let's
Troy
go.
bot, Sam.
Let's go.
I'd like to see them get some wins if they have all that good talent. But you know what? They may come. It's very, very early. It's very, very early.
And of course, I don't want this to be like speaking of glazing. I mean, there's plenty of criticism to go around. I'm not going to sit here and be like, everything's all great, but you just can't deny Troy's ability to find talent. I mean, it is what it is. Now, piecing together that talent is what he's going to have to figure out to start winning games here. Monty, he has just as much responsibility. But overall, though, I want your thoughts on how the season's kind of started so far. Like, they're 2-7. For people like me and you that said 30 wins was, at least ideal. It's a must to see this team because they won they didn't even clear 20 last year, but they had a lot of injuries. We think this team's a 30-win team. You still got hope for that, or are you panicking now? When is it time to hit the panic button?
I'm not. It's time to hit the panic button if Troy absolutely, and I get it. People don't want to hear next summer, but realistically, that's what this team is set up for. The organization has stated it. Troy Weaver has said it before this season even began. The splashes are coming next year when they have up to $90 million in cap space and only 8 guaranteed contracts on this roster and another good draft pick. But as it relates to this year, the 30 wins was predicated on having no catastrophic injuries. I was thinking like Cade or Ivy. I wasn't expecting for all of the vets on the team to be injured, which equals one catastrophic injury to me. That's what we see right now. When they were more well-rounded with Burks in the lineup, just Burks being removed from the lineup has caused a huge issue for this team's not just spacing, but having people out there who don't get rattled in situations like last night. I believe Burks here, if Burks played last night, we've seen Burks be that difference maker. He can go and draw a foul. He can hit a big timely three. He can also handle the rock in those moments and find Cade Cunningham and find some of your other young players in some really, really good situations. So right now, no, I'm not panicking. I believe that this team is kind of primed right now as they get healthier and as they gain more experience to do similar to what we saw them do post All-Star break of Cade's rookie year.
Right.
And that's going a little bit of a run. Like I said, they raised their winning percentage from 200 to about 400, and I think it was like about 43 to 46% winning percentage. They were 10 and 14 in those games post All-Star that all three of Cade, Marvin Bagley, and Jeremy Grant played in. I believe this team is primed for that. If we didn't see, like, this is my standpoint, if you did not have the cap space, if we did not have the good young core, if we didn't have the opportunities to go and put it all together, that's when it's time to panic, because we've been there. Like, when we maxed out and cashed out on Andre Drummond, we realized, what are we going to do, because he's not that guy. But we're looking at all of these young players for the most part and saying, you know what, they're pretty good. They are pretty good. And that's something to kind of hang your hat on for right now. Do we want to see them start to win? Yes, but they're going to have to learn that. That's something that you still have to learn in the NBA. They preached it. These young guys are going to have to learn how to win. And you know what? Why not do it when all the pressure's on you?
Right.
Why not? Why not learn it when all the pressure's on you? We didn't know if Asar Thompson was going to start the season or not. If some of those vets are there, I do wonder if we see Sasser right now. I do wonder how much we see Asar Thompson right now. So it's one of those give and take things. And I broke bread with the people yesterday on Woodward Pistons, and I said, listen, I feel your pain because I too have been watching what they've been since realistically 2006. Since 2006, it hasn't been fun to be a Detroit Pistons fan. And I get that, or a Detroit Pistons observer. But in terms of what they're doing right now to put the right pieces in place to be able to have a chance, I do believe in that. It's just now is an audit. Like, you guys all know those classes in college. Hey, let me audit this thing and see either pass or fail. This summer is that audit. It's pass or fail. Either he does something at the trade deadline, gets busy in the draft again, and spends that cap wisely, or else we'll be sitting here looking at the reincarnation of CV and BG all over again. Charlie V and Ben Gordon misappropriating the cap space. Now, do I believe that'll happen? No. I think that from their front office to all their whole entire coaching staff, they have basketball minds, from Arn Tellem to Ed Stefanski to Troy Weaver to Monty Williams to Jarrett Jack to Silas. They got a lot of different people on this squad that are connected to basketball. Even Jamel McMillan, the head coach of the Motor City Cruise, who worked out with the Pistons all summer and continues to share the facility with them, son of longtime NBA player and coach Nate McMillan. They got a lot of basketball minds and a lot of basketball relationships in this building now that give me a lot more hope that they're going to actually get a hit rather than strike out this summer.
Yeah, Kool-Aid, I wanted to ask you this because the Pistons, they had a chance to really steal one last night, but they they couldn't quite finish, but I'm not too upset about that. Do you think as the team gets a little bit more experience, guys like Asar and Sasser and even some of the young guys like Cade, who's basically played the equivalent of one season worth of games, do you think as that happens, as they get more experience, as the Pistons get more healthy, that they'll be able to win some of those games? Like they might steal a couple surprise ones, like maybe going to LA and win, or win a home game against Milwaukee, or even maybe their next game against Philadelphia. Do you think that this Pistons team is a team that can just be a pest or a spoiler from time to time?
I do. I really do. And I believe that they're going to, when they get through this gauntlet of the schedule and start playing teams that they're more evenly matched up with, that we're going to see them put together some wins. I do believe that. And I think that this early in the season right now, Cade Cunningham, as it relates to the guy who's taken a couple shots at the end of games now this year, that could have either tied it or won it for us, he's going to have to go back to the film, and this coaching staff is the right one to be able to sit down and watch the film on. He's going to go back and he's going to look at last night and say, you know what? They called me mid-range Cade. I was wide open in the middle. He was wide open in the middle, but he decided to take that one extra dribble, that one extra step through, and to try and challenge Lopez. Listen, the Lopez brothers have just been this kind of, as we've been bad as a Pistons franchise, every time we played them, they've kind of been the antithesis to that, and they just ruin things for us. Every time we play either one of the Lopez brothers. I think that when he goes back and he looks at this, and as he gets better, he's going to start to lean more on his strengths, and that's with the rest of the squad as well. Lean more to your strengths, lean more to what you know works, and they're going to find some success as they continue to learn. I really do.
And Sam, you got anything?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to ask you too, because a question popped up, and I wanted to ask you because this is something a lot of people talk to me about, and I want you to clear it up because you're fair with this stuff. And Detroit Supremacy, I believe, asked it, and I want to echo that. What's the timeline to you to start being competitive in the East? Give me a realistic timeline.
Oh, I'm looking for this team realistically to make the play-in by next year. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for this to go and be long drawn out. I've told people before, if this thing gets botched this summer, we have to aptly apply, respectfully, that's how I'm always do it, criticism. Right. We have to. If not, then we're just being blind to everything that's going on, and then they're going to be failing these young players. But for me personally, I want to see them start to gain that competitive kind of attitude and edge. I want to see them gain that this year. They can't go into next season trying to gain chemistry. These young players who we know are going to be here next year and going to be playing major roles, they have to start showing that right now. They have to show that this season, so that going into next season, when Troy Weaver is able to go out there and try to dress this team a little bit better around them with vets who might not be as injury prone, and with players, hopefully a splash or a star that can help to take the offensive burden off of Cade Cunningham. I want to see this squad fighting realistically for the play. And I don't think that being one of the top 10 seeds in the East by next season is that tall of a task. When we saw them to start this year a little bit more healthy, kind of looking like a team that we probably underrated a little bit.
Absolutely.
So,
and again, I think today the biggest thing for me, man, moving forward is, and I was going to ask you this earlier, but you've already said it, you can't take Marcus Sasser out of this rotation. You just can't, dude. Like, I know he was kind of playing because Monty's out. He's got to stay in that rotation the rest of the year.
He's got to stay in. I've told people this too. I know that Killian Hayes is having a decent stretch. I think that he parlays as a decent backup big that you can get on a cheap deal in the NBA. And if he knows your system, if he's comfortable, and if he listens to the coaches and wants to play his role, cool. I think his role is the one that I believe gets reduced the most when this team gets healthy. You can't realistically keep Ivy on that bench either. You can't do that.
He's playing 20 minutes a night, dude. That can't happen.
Yeah, especially with his shooting numbers, it looked like they've improved. I know that there's some decision-making that has to improve, but he's always been this kind of high-usage guy. That's how they played him last year. If they're going to say that last year was a development year for Ivy to get him ready for this season, and then you automatically change his role going into the next season, not just coming off the bench. Coming off the bench or starting, it's okay. But when you change his role and you decide that he's not going to or going to play based on that, that becomes a little bit confusing for a young player. Last year it was, listen, this is the Superman to Cade Cunningham. All of us saw the potential that he displayed out there, including as not necessarily as a facilitator, but as a playmaker. He was able to get out there doing large stretches and pop up 6, 7, 8 assists per game, playing off of the fact that he was able to draw defenders to him and hit the right guys. Like, he had a good chemistry with some of the bigs last year. with Jalen Duren. And so, I really believe it's Killian Hayes who should see the biggest reduction in terms of minutes when everybody gets healthy. Marcus Sasser has proven he's a bucket and he's darn near unguardable. And if they can just continue to hone his playmaking and his facilitating, he's going to be a fantastic player, even more so than we already think he's going to be.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Appreciate you, Kool-Aid. For all those people that want to see more of Kool-Aid and more of what the Pistons are doing, you get all your information on Woodward Pistons, man. You guys are pretty consistent over there. I try to hop on from time to time, and you do great work, man. I appreciate you for joining the show because you're a very valued member of this program. And you do take time every single week to join the show, so we thank you for that, being the voice of reason. Again, you can follow Kool-Aid at Detroit Kool-Aid on Twitter for all Pistons stuff related. You'll be down. You'll be busy this week too. You'll be down at LCA. You'll be rocking. So follow him for all this stuff, man. And again, before we go to break, we do got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance, Sam Flannel.
Of course. Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Right after you go to Swiss Insurance, head over to Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. They got 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest to you, and you can catch Woodward Sports live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi every other Monday.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try their different foods coming out now. The Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? They got stuffed potato pancakes, and they're back. The classic lumberjack Santa Fe Garden. Also the apple pie hotcakes. Ooh, those are pretty good. That are too good to miss. Top it off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. You were getting some hotcakes last night. Stop by our local Big Boy today.
Hey, yo!
Hey, yo is right. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Let's get into the Herman Moore stuff because I've been waiting for this. I'm excited, and I've been kind of teasing it all show. But you have the clip of Herman Moore speaking about Jameson?
No. I definitely sent it in. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good. Well, Herman basically spoke on the use of Jameson Williams or how they're using Jameson and how he feels like they could get more production out of him. And I thought it was interesting because if anyone could speak on it, it's Herman frickin' Moore.
We're good now. I got you.
But here's Herman Moore speaking about Jameson Williams.
The reason why I make those comments is not that he's being mismanaged or that he's not doing something right on his end, as much as me saying, hey, I've been in this position. When a person wants to give advice and you want to throw something in there, it's not sitting on the sideline. I'm bringing this from experience. So I won't ever back down from it. I don't care who I'm talking to. I wouldn't back down from it. But I'm telling you, you got to let the players touch the ball. You got to, the bubble screens and all that, that's cool. That's still kind of a high intensity kind of route because you got to get a blocker out in front of you. You got to make sure the pass is right and all this other stuff. But I'm telling you, if you get him involved, I think we'll see a different type of a player take place. I think the confidence in his hands, you're catching the ball more in your hands. You're catching the ball on the run. You're catching the ball on the move. You got some sit-down routes. You got some stationary routes. These things will build confidence in any receiver. I don't care if you're a veteran who's struggling, trying to get out of a slump, or if you're a young player and you're trying to get acclimated, those are things that's going to make it work. It is not about how many times you step on the field. It's not about how many times you get, play calls and routes and all those things. It's about how many times will you touch the ball and have an opportunity to participate in the game at the physical level, period.
And Herman Moore was kind of speaking facts there.
Speaking a lot of facts.
He was, because again, this doesn't absolve Jamison from the drops. Like, I want to say that, of course. But what he's saying is how they're using him. In any wide receiver, it's about getting in a rhythm. And for Jamison, it feels like the rhythm's kind of spaced out. It's okay, we'll throw it to him on a comeback route. He drops it, and we won't go back to him till late in the ball game. We'll throw a deep shot down the field, and he'll drop that. It's like, all right, you're done. And I get what he's saying. It's not just getting him the ball, but it's how you're getting him the ball. And especially for a receiver like him, who has missed a lot of games, Sam Flannel, it's about building confidence, which he doesn't seem to have any right now because, number one, he's dropping balls, which you go back to Alabama. He's not an Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not going to get 100 catches a year. He's not that guy. But he definitely is better than what is being shown. So I think this week would be the ideal week to get him back on track. But what are your thoughts on some of the stuff Herman Moore was talking about?
All right. Oh, boy. There should be no...
Don't care.
No, there should be no oh boy at this one. I mean, maybe. I think, you saw him at Alabama. You saw that he actually ran the whole route tree. It wasn't just go routes every single time. Jamison Williams would take a lot of those throws that were supposed to be slants and take them to the house. I remember that it was, I believe, a post corner or it was against Miami in the opening game of the season. We see that highlights all the time that he just took to the house. It was like an 80, 90-something yard touchdown. But here's the thing. Is there ever any thought that maybe Jamison Williams hasn't earned more targets in practice? Maybe doesn't have the chemistry with Jared Goff? Because here's the reality of the situation right now. I feel like I use that phrase a lot, but it's kind of my catchphrase. Okay.
Shout out New Rule.
Yes. Jared, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Josh Reynolds. Those are clearly the three best receiving threats on this team, and there's really no reason that any of them should get less targets. Josh Reynolds, he had a bad game against the Raiders, but I think he's proven to be as reliable as they come. Even Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs has started to get more involved in the passing game, and even Khalif Raymond to some extent. I think Jared Goff trusts Khalif Raymond more than Jamison Williams at this point. So is there really enough ball to go around to just get Jamison Williams involved? Because this team is humming. This offense, for the most part, has been humming. And I'm not looking to force feed Jamison Williams just to get him into a rhythm. At some point, you just need to have a little personal responsibility. It's not everybody's fault but J-Mo. Jamison Williams, right now in his NFL career, it's been not successful. And at some point, we need to hold him accountable and realize that the Lions, think about this, guys. Even without Jamison Williams, we were a little bit concerned about the pass-catching weapons coming into the season, or some were. I definitely was to some extent. It's actually looking pretty good at this point. Nobody expected Sam Laporta to be one of the best tight ends in the league. I don't think anybody expected Josh Reynolds to be as good as he's been. And Amon-Ra St. Brown has taken a leap even from last year. Amon-Ra St. Brown has everything set in front of him to be a second-team All-Pro. Jamison Williams, he just might be the odd man out. I hate to, I'm not rooting for that or anything, but at this point, Jamison Williams has only really impacted one game this year.
And Doug says, I agree 100% with Herman. J-Mo's outrunning Goff's arm, causing easy catches to become tough. Goff got to be better. Mark Royal says J-Mo needs to develop his route tree. J2 Detroit, I was watching the Jamison highlights on YouTube, and he tends to use his body to catch a lot. But they also need to air it out to him, and I'm not sure Goff has the arm. And some of these other comments, too. K-Boogie, J-Mo can run any route in the route tree, but he is more effective on drag/slant routes. The Keys to Wisdom says, got to feed the guys who are catching the ball. Just can't force it to a guy over dudes who are delivering, which, okay, that's fair. Shot says, Sam will never be a trailblazer like Neil. Let's just slid that in there. I don't know what... Okay. That was unnecessary. Eric Allen, this team will be reviving once J-Mo gets up to speed and not just humming. Revving, excuse me, once J-Mo gets up to speed and not just humming. Funky says he obviously doesn't have chemistry with Goff. All you have to do is watch how often the ball is on time or in stride. Cy Gray says, and I agree with this one, trade J-Mo or get everything you can for him now. He'll be a good player, but never super... Oh, I don't agree with that, sorry. I thought he meant trade J-Mo or use him. Excuse me. No, Cy Gray's a little aggressive. But Lucas, your thoughts on what Herman Moore said specifically about J-Mo.
I mean, I agree with Herman more 100% because at some point, Flannel, to your point, you're 100% right. Like, this offense is humming. But at some point, coaching is about developing players. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job at developing players. You look around the team right now, and a lot of players are above their ceiling. But at some point, obviously Jamison Williams need held accountable because his hands are very inconsistent. But he's getting put in these low percentage situations where he's being asked to make big plays, and a lot of times plays that will put away the game. And when you have a young player like that who hasn't even been in that position before at the NFL, and you keep trying to make that his identity, I don't think it makes much sense. This guy was a 12th overall pick, not a 4th round pick out of Missouri who's a speedster. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is a multifaceted player that can do a lot of things. I think it makes a lot of sense to run him on drag routes because if he turns the corner, that's an easy first down. It makes a lot of sense to keep throwing him slant routes. I understand he's dropped them, but the only way you're going to get better is if you keep trying. If you remember Devontae Adams at the beginning of his career, he dropped like everything. His nickname was literally Drop Vontae. And now Devontae Adams is one of the most polished wide receivers in the league. I'm not saying that's what Jamison Williams is going to be, but when you keep giving a player opportunities, he's only going to get better. At the end of the day, that's the only way you're going to find out. We can't take this man 12th overall, let him go to another team, have another team figure him out, and now he's just an absolute stud that can do it through all 3 levels of the field, because that's what he is right now. You just have to give him that chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not just getting the ball, Lucas. Like, I agree. It's how he gets the ball. Like, that's important. I mean, there's a lot of great receivers that struggle with drops early on, but
Jerry Rice
could
not catch a... Flannel, I'm not saying that he's going to be Jerry Rice, but how did Jerry Rice get better?
Dude, he had 900 receiving yards his rookie year.
He had so... Do you remember people in San Francisco... Well, you don't remember because it's before our time.
Right.
But people in San Francisco were like, yeah, he had 900 yards, but is he really worth it because he can't catch a ball?
Yeah.
Like, he was so inconsistent with his hands, and I'm not saying he's Jerry Rice.
No one's saying that.
How did Jerry Rice get better? He was consistently given opportunities that put him in better situations. I think we're relying on Jamison Williams to bail this team out in low percentage situations. If you want Jamison Williams to bail this team out, which I think he can, try giving it to him on like a 3rd and 4 on a drag route, like they were saying in there. Run him on a jet sweep where you actually block Max Crosby, and then you have chances like that. But think about that. Like, think about Jamison Williams, who drops a pass in Baltimore that you could put on him and Jared Goff as both of their fault. And then to get his confidence back, now you're giving a jet sweep, and you don't block Max Crosby. He gets his helmet blown off. And so how do you think that makes Jamison Williams? That's going to fuck with his confidence. And then what shot did he get after that game? None. So, and I'm not saying that that's anybody's fault, but that's the reality of the situation. In Tampa Bay, before he caught that touchdown, when they're trying to get him in different routes, when he ran that vertical stop at about 15, 20 yards, the ball was behind him at the turf.
Sure.
And you know what people are saying? J-Mo, what are you doing? Like, Jamison Williams, whether we like it or not, from some type of angle, every time, all the blame is going to him, and he realizes that the only way to get him out of it is giving him just consistency. There's no consistency with Jamison Williams' usage.
I mean, that's...
you know what? Let's go to break, and then we'll go to break, and then I'll give... You can respond as soon as we get back, because this is actually a good conversation. I want to keep it going. The people are chiming in here, and we got some great comments I want to get to. But first, did we already read Glorious?
We did not.
All right, let's get to Glorious. Could you tell us about Glorious, JB?
Oh, you know I got you. Come on now. Just in time for football, Glorious Cannabis is dropping their new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue.
Woo!
Smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are definitely missing out. So smooth. Find them at a Dispo dispensary near you for 25% off. Use code word Woodward Glorious, or look for them online today at gloriouscanna.com.
Glorious!
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, snow X-plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. Buy it, rent it at 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Just visit their website at OutdoorEquipCo.com.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show talking Jameson Williams, and people are chiming in. I'm going to give Sam his chance to rebuttal kind of what Lucas was saying, because I do agree with you, Lucas, and the people are speaking on it too. Chuck Brewer, the fans in San Francisco wanted him off the field, talking about Jerry Rice. Facts. The Funky, I remember Rice had so many drops in big situations his rookie year, people wanted him gone. And Sam...
We're not saying he's going to be Jerry Rice.
I know. That's where I think Sam's mind processes it as he's Jerry Rice. You're good. Go.
Yeah, go Flannel.
You're good.
No, just... You guys don't even know the angle I'm going to take in this.
But you're getting frustrated, so I assume that's why.
Okay, because I think, actually, Chuck Brewer is batting zero, I think, in this segment. And I've agreed with them a lot lately because, first of all, he mentions how it's all Ben Johnson's fault. And I want to respond to that as well. Every single person on the Lions offense, besides for J-Mo, has absolutely thrived under Ben Johnson. The offense instantly got better in 2021. They were a top 5 scoring offense in 2022. And they've been a top 10 scoring offense so far this season, largely without the help of Jameson Williams besides the Vikings game last year and the Buccaneers game this year. Why can Amon-Ra St. Brown thrive? Why can Josh Reynolds thrive? Why can Sam Laporta thrive? Why can Jared Goff play the best football of his career? Why can Jamal Williams thrive? Why can Jahmyr Gibbs, it looks like he's starting to thrive, but Jameson Williams, it's like, oh, it's all Ben Johnson's fault. And as far as the whole Jerry Rice, and I saw T.O. as well, Jerry Rice had 900 receiving yards his rookie year. Hold on a second, I see you guys getting all riled up. Terrell Owens in his first season had over 500 receiving yards and over 900 in his second year. The problem with Jameson Williams isn't all his drops. Listen to what I am about to say to you guys, and you guys have to listen, and you guys got to comprehend it because I'm going to get it right up in you. In the majority of games that Jameson Williams has played, his stat line has been 0 receptions for 0 yards. And in another one, it was 2 receptions for 2 yards. It's not all about drops. He doesn't do anything.
Final, that's why.
Nothing.
That's why we're talking about his usage.
Yeah, because he brought up Jamal, but it's different because your wide receivers, you're playing a ball-dependent position. You got to get the football. Jamal's just he's getting 15, 20 touches a game when he played. So it's like apples to oranges a little bit.
And the thing with Herman is saying is he's not saying that Jameson Williams hasn't been a disappointment yet. He's telling you this is how you get Jameson Williams to become Jameson Williams. This isn't what they should have. This isn't what they were doing day one, but in week 9 of 2023, this is how you fix it. You can't do you really think if the Lions keep using Jameson Williams how they are that he's going to pan out?
No.
And do you think they need to get a return for their investment on the number 12 overall pick, which is, I think you can't deny his talent. I mean, even you agree he's insanely talented. So how do you get that talent out of him? You have to try to get him the ball more. To your point, 2 catches, there's a lot of receivers around the league. If you catch 1 screen pass, you're getting 2 catches for 5 yards.
Sure.
Jameson Williams, in order to get the production that Lions fans know that he can get, the usage has got to change. Now, Jameson Williams, is, to your point, they're probably not trusting him that way, but at some point, you gotta take the training wheels off. And I think right now is not the ideal situation because, to your point, the offense is humming. But we can't act like Jameson Williams, if we keep him in his role, he's going to develop. He's not in a situation to develop whatsoever. And we're not going to see his ceiling get even close to elevated or even matched if he keeps playing the role that he is.
No, and that is, that is all 100% fair. And I actually think you make very good points. I guess the problem is that here's the question that I think we need to ask. Do the Lions need him? That's kind of my big question.
That's a different thing.
Yes.
Right. I think and that's actually a good thing, that without J-Mo, they're still winning games. That's great. But imagine what the level this offense could get to if you have a guy like J-Mo consistently making plays or getting the opportunity to make plays. I mean, you watch the Raiders game, one of those targets was on a wheel route, and it was just that's not a play you see often for J-Mo. Typically when you watch him in Alabama, the things where we see him thrive at Alabama, he's not getting the same type of looks with the Lions. It's different. different. Most of his snaps are in run plays, Sam.
I mean, that's
like he's not, and I get what you're saying, but at some point you got to get the dude. You got to get him in rhythm. That's what we're saying.
No, that's fine. But if the offense is playing well with Amon-Ra St. Brown in rhythm, Sam Laporta in rhythm, Josh Reynolds in rhythm, the offensive line in rhythm, Jared Goff in rhythm, whoever's playing running back in rhythm, which I would say if you combine David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs' production, the running backs position has been very, very successful for the Lions. There just might not be enough ball to go around, and who knows? And now they bring in Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm not saying that Jameson Williams is a bad player. I'm saying that he has been a complete and utter failure so far with the Lions, and the Lions haven't even suffered because of it. Like, if this were a different situation where the Lions needed more help, with pass catching targets, maybe you could force feed Jameson Williams the ball a little bit more. Maybe you could kind of get him in rhythm. But this is a team, this Lions team, with or without Jameson Williams, and a lot of it has to do with with their schedule and what seed they get in the playoffs, could make the Super Bowl with or without Jameson Williams. You can't slow down the development of this team just to be like, Jameson Williams has to get in rhythm. And I know Trisha, she's really upset with me right now because she thinks I disrespected Herman Moore or something like that. No, I think in principle he's absolutely right. It's just with this team in this position in this season, you can't wait on Jameson Williams. Everybody else, so many people on this offense is so far ahead and they have thrived. And Jameson Williams is just the odd man out. It just might turn out that way. Not saying it will, but so far it has.
And that's the thing, because you just said you agree he has talent.
Of course.
But then you say he's been a complete failure.
He has. 1,000%.
So let's think about that for a second. He's talented, but it's been a failure.
A lot of talented people don't turn out in the NFL, Jeff. A lot of talented people.
Well, it's funny because the examples people gave, you got frustrated with that. Guys that didn't work out early in their careers or were struggling, dropped Tay Adams. Those are just examples, but that's what we're saying is, yes, it hasn't been what we expected, but the point is, for a guy like Jameson who plays, again, a ball-dependent, you got to get him opportunities. You can't, he's a hell of a run blocker, but that's not what he's here for. He's here for big plays. And if you go to him once in the first quarter and he drops a ball and you don't go to him to the fourth quarter, how is that fair?
Okay, but every single receiver that was taken in that draft is getting lots of targets. Even a guy like Treylon Burks is getting targets. Jahan Dotson is getting targets.
Making our
Chris Olave is productive. Garrett Wilson is productive.
But
Drake
you said
London
you led with targets, which makes our point.
Okay, so Jameson Williams is going to continue to get all the brownie points in the world for his perceived talent, not perceived, actual talent, and for getting open and all of that. At some point, we need him to produce. Honestly, the JMO bots are the worst kind of people in Detroit sports discourse. I'm not saying you two.
We're agreeing with you on the fact that JMO needs to produce. That's what we're saying. Okay, he needs to produce. How is this going to happen? We've seen the first how many weeks of his career, 18 weeks, whatever it is. We're past that now. Now people are starting to get a little frantic about Jameson Williams because we're in a situation where it's like this guy needs to develop, and there are parts in the game, like against the Chargers this week, this is a perfect game to give Jameson Williams 5-6 looks because you can afford to do that, especially when you have the running game that the Lions do. The consistency on the offensive side. I'm not saying go and force it so there's a turnover, but when you have Asante Samuel Jr., who's a very solid, going to be a very good cornerback in this league. He's going to be on Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you have Mike Davis on Jameson Williams. Like, that's the game where it's like, okay, Josh Reynolds. Do you think Josh Reynolds goes out there and is going to be upset if he gets one target, like he gets one catch for 10 yards? No. I think that's where it's like, okay, manage the egos on the team because that's one of the most important things you can do in sports. And the coach's job is to find a way to develop the players. And I understand if it's in a tight game, no. But if you're in like these 2-score games where you're getting comfortable in the second half, take the top off the game by just using Jameson Williams on the field. Don't do it in one play. Don't try to get a 50-yard bomb to Jameson Williams. Take a 20-yard shot to Jameson Williams on a cross route. Next change of downs, give him a hitch route, see if he can turn the corner. Like, you can get him implemented in the different ways, and that's what we're saying they need to do. We're not saying that you can just excuse everything from the past, because has his hands been incredibly inconsistent? Yes. Has he been suspended, so you got to worry about him off the field? If you want to worry about him still, but there's reason for concern, sure, you can go ahead and do that. And then just his basic route running. You can be concerned about all these things, but at the end of the day, there's ways to fix it.
No, it's frustrating, like, watching, and you see, again, like we watched the Raiders game. You all watched it here. And you're watching the game. Jameson runs off the field, or runs onto the field, gets in a run play, blocks, comes off the field. You kidding me?
Okay, but
that dude's he's a decoy. Like that, what the hell?
Number 12 overall pick decoy that everyone is 100% happy with.
No, we're not happy.
No one is happy with Jameson Williams right now.
He comes out, blocks, and gets off the field, or he'll come in, run a route, and come off the field. That's my problem.
No, it's just, and maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but I see everyone in the chat just all kinds of excuses. And honestly, Chuck Brewer, like I said, you are batting a 0.
No, he is not.
Yes, he is batting a 0. Let me find
Chuck
that comment.
hasn't missed.
let me see. No, he definitely has missed because he's talking about how here it is. And every player on the team has drops, but they get more targets. Don't be stupid. So do you want to take targets away from Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has been arguably a top 5 receiver?
He's
going to
get his targets.
Do you want to take away targets from Sam Laporta, who is on pace to maybe have the best rookie tight end season ever?
He's going to get his targets.
Do you want to take targets away from Josh Reynolds, who has been pretty much almost every time he catches the ball, it's either a first down or a touchdown? That's the thing. All those people that you mentioned produce. Jameson Williams doesn't produce. And you guys act like he has.
No,
produce. Not you. These people.
No.
These bots.
No, they're not bots.
Bots.
No, they are not. But you brought up, Sam, when you brought up the other receivers in that draft, you know what you started with? This is your mistake.
What?
They get targets. Chris Olave gets targets. You went with targets first.
But you know
that's a big mistake.
Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, that's not a mistake because they get credit for things they've actually done on the field. Like Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson.
Well, one of them missed an entire year because of a knee injury. So
and that's fine.
That's another part of it.
But an entire year? You mean the 6 games where he played?
He played like 80 snaps.
Okay, fine. But in that game against the Vikings, he had a 41-yard touchdown, and we were all blowing our wads. We were all like, J-Mo. And rightfully so. But the rest of the year, he didn't get your goddamn ball! And everyone acts like he never played!
And how many targets?
It doesn't matter! Okay. Get more targets!
Okay.
He sucks right now! He sucks!
No, he does not.
Admit it, everybody!
No, he does not suck.
He has been a bust!
No.
B-U-S-T, bust!
No, he has not.
And everybody, it gives him all the excuses in the book. He sucks! He can't get he is less productive on a per day basis than Khalif Raymond.
Okay, all right, that's no.
And nobody gives a shit.
No.
Does he still get a touchdown every time he touches the ball? No, it never happened then, and it doesn't happen now.
Oh my gosh, should we open up the phone lines?
Yeah, JB, are they open by chance? No,
I gotta double check and see if
not, we can do this. Honestly, I would like to do this tomorrow for phone lines. If it's we can wait till tomorrow because that'd be fun. The people versus Sam. Bots that he calls.
I'm willing to take up 940 for a phone call or two. We can do what's trending at a different time.
Yeah, you guys want to call in? Like seriously,
let's make sure the phone lines are good too. We'll figure it out.
We can get the people, the bots, as you refer to them as, talking to you. That would be great. But still, the whole thing is, and this is what people I think are not people, but you, Sam, are misunderstanding what we're saying. It's not like we've been ecstatic, but what we've been seeing out of Jameson. But you can't deny every time he's touched the football, at least for a couple instances this year, he's got a couple duds, whatever. But most of the time, it's productive. So we just want to see the guy get more targets and different opportunities. Herman Moore literally just said that in the video. And you agreed with them.
Here's what actually happens most of the time he touches the ball.
No.
Yes, by the numbers. No. Yes.
By the numbers.
No. What about JB? We good? All right, you know what, guys? F it. Call in, dude. Let's. I want to talk to the people. 313-553-6322. Let's get the people.
313-552-6322, right?
Yep. And put that in the chat and get the people calling in, man. Please. Let's get a conversation going about J-Mo because me and Lucas clearly are on one side of yes, J-Mo. It's how he gets targets in which matters. Sam is saying he's a bust. So
far he has been.
Okay,
and if you deny that, you don't know reality.
Okay, well I guess none of us know reality. But please call in if you disagree or agree. We'll go to break right now, and then we'll get to some phone calls if we can coming out of break. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Guardian Alarm.
It's a new let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call calls anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products and targets to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford has been doing by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford at Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. We're back. Wow. It's never a dull moment when we're talking about Jameson Williams. Wow, the people are fired up. You got an angry mob coming at you, Sam Flannel, now. It is what it is. We just had a discussion. Jameson Williams, is it more on him? Is it... That screenshot is iconic. Is it more on him? Or is it more about how they're using him? And I think there's a little bit of both to go around. We know how Sam feels. The phone lines are being a little weird. We might just wait till tomorrow and spend more time talking to people. I think that'd be a fun show on Friday. Like, open up phone lines Friday. Open them up. We could talk Jameson. We could talk about the game, the Chargers game this weekend. And we could do that. I know the phone lines are a little busy. So let's get to what's trending with Lucas, and we'll see if we can come back around to it. But, Lucas, what do you got for us?
Okay, so we're going to transition. Obviously, Jameson Williams, he's getting some flack, and you could say deservedly so. But Aiden Hutchinson has also been getting some flack about not getting to the quarterback. And Robert Saleh came out yesterday, and he had some pretty interesting things to say. He said that he thinks stats are an overrated stat in today's NFL.
Sack production, like I said, is an overrated stat. Quentin Williams is one of the top 5 defensive players in all of football, and he's proving it down in and down out.
Make them tired.
We live in a society where sack production is the measure of how good a player is, and it's not even close.
Comments saying that in today's society with everything, it doesn't matter, because Quentin Williams, he said in that same thing, Quentin Williams this year has half a sack. So do you guys think that more people need to take this attitude that sacks aren't everything, or do you think he's wrong and that if you're in the NFL, you're a talented defensive end, you need to get to the quarterback regardless, because all the good ones do?
Nah, well, there's a little bit of both. Like, that's the thing with Aiden too, and I've made this point, so I got to be consistent with this. I think yes, Aiden's responsible. He's got to up his sack numbers. I 100% agree with that. But what helps that is guys around you that can win one-on-ones, that demand double teams, that are threats. Like, if you have a Julian Okwara, Liam McNeil, and Julian's demanding a double team, or he's winning one-on-ones, and the offensive line has to account for him, by default, it's very simple. It's going to help Aiden. But I do agree, though, if you're that guy, then yeah, you're going to get sacks. But there's no doubt that if you have a Dexter Lawrence, a Leonard Williams, who was just traded, but you had him, it's going to help a Kayvon Thibodeau. It's very simple, But again, Aiden, it doesn't absolve him from not getting sacks. So it's a little bit of both.
Oh, he's absolved from not getting sacks 100%. I think anybody who's complaining about Aiden Hutchinson just needs to be a little bit more grateful. And some of the best examples, Robert Saleh gave his own player, Quentin Williams. He has a half a sack on the season where he had 12 last year. Quentin Williams has been very impactful. He's been excellent. And the New York Jets defense has been excellent. He just hasn't gotten the sacks. And when you look at even a couple of guys who are edge rushers, Nick Bosa has basically just been the same Nick Bosa as he was last year, maybe a little bit worse. His just sack numbers are not the same, but he's impactful, and the 49ers defense is good. And you even look at a guy, I would say another poster child for this where sacks aren't everything is a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence is consistently rated as one of the top DNs in the league, especially playing opposite
Right.
Micah Parsons, but he hasn't had a double-digit sack season, I think, in like 5 years, and he's one of the highest-rated defensive ends this season, and he has 2. So yeah, sacks are 100% overrated. I mean, they're valuable, but if you can pressure the quarterback and get him off his spot and maybe pressure someone into a defensive tackle or into a linebacker like Hutch did with Alex Anzalone in one play against the Raiders, that is just as good.
I want to be the voice of the people because they're chiming in now. You got Eric and Chuck. Eric says, what? Fuck off, Sam. You can't shit on one player for not getting on the stat sheet and praise another for the same fucking thing.
Oh, you're such an
and then
idiot,
Chuck
bro.
Brewer
You're
says,
such a fucking idiot, dude.
Chuck,
get out of our chat.
No,
bro.
do not get out of our chat.
Stop
Eric
that.
Allen. Chuck Brewer says, really, Sam, but stars make players, and he's a number 2 pick. Where's the JMO energy?
Aiden Hutchinson had 9.5 sacks his rookie year. He has 4.5 this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many total receiving yards Jamison Williams has for his entire career? 112.
What is it, ASMR?
112. Shut the fuck up and appreciate Aiden Hutchinson and demand something from your Lord, your Savior, the Father and the Son, and Jamison Williams. J-Mo, more like lame-o, am I right?
No, that is
Shut the fuck up.
No, Sam not only dug his grave, but he jumped right in that coffin, didn't he?
He shut it down. He's burying himself 6 feet under right now as we speak.
Eric Allen, you better not go anywhere. I love you, Eric Allen.
Eric, you are a very valued member of the chat.
Yeah, I love it. And Chuck, all those guys. Chuck is not batting 0. He is.
Oh, he's batting 0.
No,
right.
to you he is. It's just, hey, it's all subjective. You think he's batting 0. I think he's got to speak in facts. Yeah, but it is what it is. Sam has had enough, I think. K Boogie says, I'm ending Sam's career tomorrow. We're calling it.
God.
I'm ending your fucking life, bro. You don't want any of this. You don't want any of this.
You know what, K Boogie, calling tomorrow, man. I want the smoke. I think Sam wants the smoke.
This is the worst day the chat's ever had.
Eric Allen says, Jeff, I'm here every fucking day, bro. Sam can't scare me away. Hell yeah, Eric. Let's go. Now, Eric's a dog. You know he's a dog. He ain't going to run away from a fight. That's for sure.
That's what we like to hear. The competition around here is always welcome. But
yep.
Something that we were talking about a little bit yesterday, PFF, Flannel's favorite website, they came out with their midseason All-Pro team. And quarterback is none other than Lamar Jackson. But if you look down there at the very, very bottom, they have one Penei Sewell. So we got to like that. But then I look at this list more, and I look, and I'm like, what the fuck is Brandon Ayuk's having a good season.
Yeah, PFF.
But for Brandon Ayuk?
No.
I mean, just when you look at this, and you can, JB had a good point on the morning chat yesterday. He's like, if you could make your all-pro team, who would it be? So when you look at this list, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Travis Kelce, you can read it. What would you change about this list?
And this is the thing. PFF is something I use to add to my points. I don't live by PFF, and I've said that multiple times because you look at some of these all-pro. They came out with an offense and defense, and even their defensive list, it's like some of the guys are like, what?
Yeah,
just because
Derrick Henry on this.
It's all PFF great. Yeah, Derrick Henry has not been. He's just kind of gotten back to somewhat Derrick Henry, but he's not an all-pro team this year.
No.
Kidding me? I mean, what the hell? So PFF, man, with some of these all-pro lists, but it does fit my narrative because Penei Sewell's on there, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
but the others I don't agree with. But Penei Sewell, you could stay.
Yeah, honestly, I think they got the wide receivers 100% right. You can't really argue with that. They got the tight end right. I mean, Brandon Ayuk as the flex. That wouldn't be who I would choose. But
St. Brown.
I'd put St. Brown.
Like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'd put either of those
Chase.
over Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I mean, Penei at right tackle I think is correct. I'd say Darashot left tackle is right. Derrick Henry at running back.
No.
Here's the thing. A lot of people are really like pounding the table for Christian McCaffrey, but he's slowed down a little bit. He's not an MVP candidate anymore.
Well, he doesn't have to be an MVP candidate, but the man still has 9 rushing touchdowns and has had an absolute great season. Even Raheem Mostert put him over Derrick Henry.
I agree he's a candidate, Sam, but I wouldn't put him first. I wouldn't do. But that's where we disagree. But I think he's top 3.
No, he's not top 3.
Give me 3. Give me 3.
Over for MVP?
Yeah.
I would take Patrick Mahomes. I would take probably Tua. I would probably take Lamar Jackson at this point.
So he's top 3.
No. Christian McCaffrey, for a running back to get it, you have to produce at an astronomical level.
Excuse me, I misunderstood you. You were talking about Christian McCaffrey. Yes, you are correct. He's not a candidate. Okay. You said Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, for like an MVP.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you said Lamar Jackson for MVP.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Fair.
Yeah, I agree. Christian McCaffrey's not he's not an MVP. Yeah, for a second I'm like, what? He's a candidate, Lamar. Even though you agree he's first, I got him, third, second, wherever you want to put him. But regardless, PFF man.
JB, when you look at this list,
stupid,
because you were the one that found this. What would you change if you GM JB? What are you doing here?
I don't like that Derrick Henry is on this list over Christian McCaffrey. That's kind of weird. I don't know about that.
It's kind of weird.
No.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, I guess I can't really. Brandon Ayuk, really?
Okay, so we're all kind of in lockstep. Where it's just like
Brandon
the obvious
Ayuk.
ones are kind of obvious.
Hawkinson, if I could get rid of him, that would be awesome.
JB makes a phone call to PFF.
But I like that Panay is on this list, though. I got to give respect to our Lions. Hey, Panay, doing your thing.
Doing your thing.
We'll take it. One thing that didn't respect it, and then we'll move on from what's trending after this, is ESPN. They came out with their best chance to win a Super Bowl. They came out with percentages. And the Lions aren't even on that bitch. They got the Cowboys at 7%, the Eagles at 18%, and the 49ers at 14%. So right now, according to ESPN analytics, the Lions are not a top 3 seed in the Super Bowl contention race this year.
This is the dumbest. This is the dumbest thing ever. ESPN analytics. Did you see their power rankings according to ESPN analytics? They had the Eagles at 7.
They had them at 7?
According to ESPN analytics, they ranked teams. The Eagles were 7. Yeah, okay. Analytics, my ass. That's what I think about that. Like the Lions, I could argue this. The Dolphins, incredible offense. But I think traveling and winning in different environments, which is what the playoffs are. You got to travel to different cities, different temperatures, different circumstances, and win football games. I'll take the Lions over the Dolphins.
Yeah,
because that offense, unless it's 85 degrees out, no, they're not the same offense.
Well, and I think when you look at that list, that what they're failing to take into account is situation. The fact that right now the Lions are the number 2 seed in the NFC if the season were to end today, and they have a very, very favorable schedule moving forward. I think part of the reason, and this isn't hating on the Lions, why I think the Lions can even overachieve this season is because they have a golden opportunity to get the 1 seed, and that has to be taken into account. But I think people who maybe don't follow the Lions or watch them every game just don't quite understand that. That is a dumb list. I'm not going to be too up in arms, but you have to take everything into account. It's not how a team looks that particular day. It's odds to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, and that's why I would have the Lions higher on that kind of a list than on like a power ranking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and here's another dumbass comment. Brandon Katz, Jeff of the Clown take, Tua is a fraud. What did I just say, Lucas?
Yeah, you did.
I just said.
Don't buy into it.
I know,
okay.
but it's funny. I got to call him out. The guy never listens, and that's the funny part about this thing. I just said Tua. I just gave the edge of the Lions, and he's. What?
Brandon, I lied, though, fellas, because this
Brandon,
is just a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
I think we remember Stephen A. Smith going on the Detroit Lions are frauds after they lost to the Ravens. Well, listen to what this bozo, this absolute buffoon, went on and said yesterday about Jared Goff.
Excuse me, the question, has Dak been the best quarterback in the National Football Conference? The answer is no. Has anybody forgotten about Jared Goff? We're just going to ignore that? Jared Goff has completed 68% of his passes. He's record is 6-2. That's a game better than the Dallas Cowboys. I saw 3 losses by the Dallas Cowboys this year. To Arizona, obviously a blowout loss to San Francisco, and then they lost to Philadelphia. I saw at least 2 of those games, or at least 2 games this season where Dak has completed less than 60% of his passes. I'm looking at Jared Goff, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,174 yards passing, which is more than Dak, completing 68% of his passes. They're in first place in the NFC North. They're 6-2, got the best record and the second best record in the NFC. And then we also have to take into account, statistically speaking, every game this season, with the exception of the opener, which he completed nearly about 63% of his passes, this is Jared Goff. 80%, 66, 67, 71, 68, 62, 70% of his passes. One game where they wet the bed, they got blown out by Baltimore. Every other game, even the game that they lost to Seattle, the second game of the season, they lost an
You get the gist of what he's saying. And I don't care that he's saying Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFC. I'm caring that he's going to go on and say that the Lions are fraud 2-3 weeks ago, and then he's going to flip the script like nothing happened and say that Jared Goff is better than Jalen Hurts, especially after Jalen Hurts. Like, Stephen A. Smith, you are not welcome back on the bandwagon, my friend. When you guys hear that, what's your reaction when you first see it?
Stephen A. Smith, man, this guy flip-flops more than flip-flops. So, like, that's my problem with Stephen A. Smith, dude. Like, 1 minute they're frauds, 1 minute he's giving credit to Jared, 1 minute this, 1 minute that. And I know he does it a lot for ratings. I get all that, but that it gets annoying after a while. Like, stand on business, Stephen A. Smith. Stand on business. That's all I ask.
It's funny because I don't agree with either of the statements. I don't think the Lions are frauds, and I don't think Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFC. I think Jalen Hurts has reclaimed that throne after he earned it last year, came into the season with it, kind of struggled a little bit, but has now rightfully gotten it back, at least for now. To me, when a team like the Lions, who haven't been successful really ever, at least since the 1950s, they have a good start to the season, which they have and still have, and then they lose 38-6 at a contending team. I think it's a little bit jarring. So I'm not that mad at Stephen A. Smith for doing the whole they're frauds and then Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFC. For the record, you can have a fraudulent team and still have the best quarterback in the NFC, but I don't think the Lions are frauds. I'm not mad at what Stephen A. Smith did. Information.
Booner says, imagine Flannel and Stephen A. Smith yelling at each other.
God. You have Mad Dog like moderating it. Mad Dog's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, he really is.
That dude doesn't shut up. But that's all for what's trending. Get in some mailbag.
All right, let's do it. We got to hear about our friends from Dispo first, though, Sam Flannel.
Absolutely.
You might need a joint or two. Not gonna lie to you.
I might. That's all right. Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere. Mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products, the first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Let me tell you about our friends over at 5 Iron Golf, because, guys, if you're like me and you stink, go to 5 Iron Golf and you practice. You get better. And it's more enjoyable because, you know, like on the course, you bring some brewskis with you. At 5 Iron Golf, they got it all at your disposal. They got drinks, they got food, they got pretty good chips and salsa, which I'll keep pumping up. They're delicious. And more than that, you bring a group of friends over there and you have some fun, man. It's a lot of fun. They got 13 TrackMan simulators. They have instructors there to teach you. And most importantly, like I said, full bar and restaurant. That is 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. Welcome back. It's the Morning Woodward Show with the Sam Flannel. We need like we need like a you know what I would love? Like every morning we have an introduction for Sam. Like he comes out of like a tunnel and we have music queued up. Yeah, smoke.
The Undertaker music's playing every time.
Did you see the Kyler Gordon when he ran out of the tunnel? It's kind of like the Brian Robinson Jr. one where like Kyler came out and he did like a backflip.
What the hell happened to Kyler Gordon? Did he just get hurt or something? Or What was his big deal?
I don't know. Well, we had an intro where he came out of the tunnel and everyone was hyping him up, and this page posted. It was this intro is one of the most badass intros ever. Even though they must have forgot Ray Lewis.
Tyler Gordon.
Yeah, Ray Lewis doesn't exist. Do you guys remember his intro? What the hell?
Brian Dawkins.
Brian Dawkins, another one.
All fours and
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But let's get into mailbag. We'll try to get to questions. Wow, we knew mailbag was going to go this route, Sam, so you're going to have to face the smoke.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know. Shad, mailbag, how do y'all tolerate that dumb MF-er Sam? His opinions are absolute dog shit, and he's a borderline clinically... Okay. Yeah, you respond to Shad. That you guys have a vendetta. You guys have a rivalry, so I like Shad, but you guys have beef, so go ahead.
Oh, I certainly don't like Shad. It's okay. We can agree to disagree on a lot of things. I mean, I think Shad is just one of those that has Flannel Sam derangement syndrome. If I say it I think that I can psyop every single one of you into hating Aiden Hutchinson. That's my challenge. Neil's already done it. I'm going to do it too.
No.
Because I love him so much.
Eduardo Neal's mailbag. Can the thumbnail tomorrow be Sam on trial? Actually?
That would...
Eduardo? We're doing it. We're doing that. That'll be our thumbnail tomorrow. That's a good one. I don't even know what this is. Thornhill mailbag. Sam is it's like
I don't even know what
a flower.
that is.
I don't. Chat. Do we agree? I don't know. I guess so. Let's see here. Jesse mailbag. Gay guys, how sad is it that the state's lawmakers are using their time and power to write a letter to the Big Ten commissioner about Michigan football? Like really? LOL.
Well, I mean, people like Jesse Adams and people like Michigan State fans and Ohio State fans and all of the ESPN media shout out Pete Thamel. Like you guys just want to be judge, jury, and executioner and cancel Michigan's season and fire Jim Harbaugh and prevent him from going to the college football playoff without letting everything play out. That's my biggest problem. Michigan actually under Santa Ono has some balls and is fighting back. If this were Mark Schlissel, I'm pretty sure, and Booner mentioned it when we texted each other yesterday, Michigan would have probably already self-imposed the death penalty, but Michigan is not backing down, and I love it. Ryan
Lentz responding to Eduardo in his thumbnail suggestion just said, got you. That's all he said. That's all that needs to be said. Ryan Lentz will cook for us. That's why we love him. Let's get to this. Oh, Eric Allen responded. Jeff, even though Sam called me a dumb MFer, tell him I still love the show and appreciate him. My feelings aren't hurt and much love no matter what. Eric taking the high road.
That's how you kill a Flannel there.
Hey, Eric taking the high road. Flannel, your response.
I didn't call him an MFer. That didn't come out of my mouth.
Hold accountability.
No, I think he did.
I didn't say MFer.
You might have, Flannel. You were pretty heated there.
I don't know.
Hey, you want
I don't know, maybe
some accountability?
Chat, did he say it? I don't know. I think he did. But regardless, it was the heat of the moment.
I know how this is going to go because I'm critical of J-Mo. Now you guys are all going to love him. Because I love Aiden Hutchinson. Now you guys are all going to say that he needs to do more. It's ridiculous. I understand my role on the show. I get it. It's all well and good. I'm the opposite of Neil. Everything I say, you guys immediately think the opposite.
But you can't just say they just think there's your delivery is maybe
that's fine.
How you know what I mean?
That's
you got to take some accountability there. It's not just people just hate you.
No, that's fine.
Sometimes you're gonna drop a ball, Flannel.
Yeah, it's all good.
I've been wrong many times. But when it comes to Jamison Williams, I have never understood the almost son-like obsession that people have with him. They would give their lives. They would lay down on a railroad for Jamison Williams.
Hold on, and I get it, and I get it. But this. As long as you're taking accountability, Sam, you understand. Maybe some things you say you rub people the wrong way, and you know that.
Yeah,
you understand
fair.
that.
That's fair.
All right, this question though, relating to JMO, and I appreciate it. Let's see, I just lost it. And I want to read it. Make sure I get to it. It was from Tony, if I can find it. Let's see here. Well, I can't find it. Sorry, Tony. I'll try to get to it. A lot of questions coming through. Chad Fisher, mailbag. How hard is it for a single coach to coach the NBA for 28 years? Coach Pop is the man. He really is. And, after the death of his wife, I think coaching just keeps him going at this point. So, true legend of the game. And he gets to coach Victor frickin' Wembanyama. So, there's that too. Real Cream of Wheat says, I have a wife. Dante says, mailbag, if the Lions put J-Mo with the kickoff return team to return kicks, would you be okay with that? I mean, yeah. At the same time, though, you don't want to get hurt, so there's that too. You have Donovan People-Jones for that, Khalif for that. So, yes and no.
A little bit of a demotion.
Yeah. So I get that. I do. But he certainly could. Funky says, Sam, those of us that say that has literally nothing to do with you. Get off your own tip.
That's fine. You know what? That's actually probably fair. I just, I don't think I will ever. Here's many things that I can believe. And I will be honest, when Jameson Williams had that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I cheered him. I also believe this with all of my heart, and you guys cannot change my opinion on this. I believe that a lot of you guys will never criticize Jameson Williams no matter what he does. This season, he could literally have 160 receiving yards, and people would still say that he's talented or something like that.
He's talented.
He's talented, but a lot of talented players have failed in the NFL. Just ask like Trent Richardson or somebody like that. Just ask Jamarcus Russell.
Corey Berry, mailbag. Sam, any interest in a week-long sabbatical to Aaron Rodgers' retreat?
I mean,
takes him to Alaska, come back,
like
try again.
Paid or unpaid? Because I would probably do that at this point.
Tony Snow found it. Mailbag. Does Sam want J-Mo to realize his potential, or does he want him to be right about him being a bust?
No, it's not about being right. I would like to see him realize his potential. My problem is the people who just make every single excuse under the sun for Jameson Williams and think that any criticism is an attack. That's the thing. When you're picked that high and you produce as little as he has and has been as unavailable as he has, both being picked as an injured player and as a suspension, you're going to get some smoke. But it's okay with other people, but it's just not okay with Jameson Williams. You can't say anything, or else the JMO bots just like get their pitchforks out.
And I'm with Eric on this one because he says I criticize JMO, which is fair, but I won't call him a bust. I think that's and that's where you went today. That's how you feel. But we just disagree with that. Chuck says, you watch me go at Neil, but I'm a Neil bot.
No, Chuck, you're not a Neil bot.
Okay, he just wanted to clarify because Chuck, he's very fair.
That's fine. I just, when it comes to JMO, you are probably the worst offender in the chat. And that's okay. Either actually him or Neil. Neil Rule's the worst offender in all the fucking world when it comes to Jameson Williams. You can't say one thing about him or else he just jumps down your throat. And I get it. Pot kettle. I jumped down a lot of your guys' throat today, but Neil Rule, just like, it doesn't matter. You cannot say anything about Jameson Williams, or else he'll just go on like a fit.
Jake says, any counter argument to your criticisms does not mean that it's 100% defensive JMO, Flannel. Get off your soapbox.
All right. I've been wrong many, many times, and I've admitted it. My DeAndre Swift take, terrible. My Scott Frost take, terrible. Like, trust me, I'm not all knowing. I want to see something from Jameson Williams, and it's not even so much. And for the record, guys, and maybe we can break bread a little bit. I know I kind of broke bread with you, Jeff, and you, Lucas, earlier today. It's not so much anti-JMO. It's so many other guys on this team. Like the Lions, it turns out, with Sam Laporta being way better than even Lucas Klotz thought his rookie season, with Amon-Ra St. Brown's improvement, with Josh Reynolds' improvement, with the running backs playing so well, whether together or apart. This offense is pretty loaded with weapons. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's a guy who has struggled this year to get targets with Cleveland, but he's an 800 receiving yards guy last year. I just don't know if JMO is going to get the usage he needs, and I don't think he should be force-fed. We shall see.
So you agree it's not talent, it's opportunity.
But has he earned that opportunity? If you're the number 12 overall pick, you're drafted to honestly, and I know this is never going to happen, you're drafted to be the number one wide receiver on the team, even above Amon-Ra. Is that I'm not expecting that. I'm just expecting.
But could you agree it's difficult when you are correct? You're supposed to be one of the more important pieces offensively. But can you agree when you miss a year and the offense is top 5 in the league that it's hard to kind of get integrated when the offense is already top 5?
Yes, that's fair. But that also leads me to question whether they need him or not, and whether it was a catastrophic pick.
But would you agree that with JMO playing at a high level, this offense's ceiling grazes?
Yes.
Okay, so at least we come to some sort of agreement there. Chuck says JMO has plenty to blame, but Ben and play calling is part of the problem and could be part of the solution.
But so many people have thrived under Ben Johnson. Like I say, I'm not slowing down this offense for Jameson Williams. I mean, everybody loves Jared Goff, right? How did he look the previous couple years at the end of Los Angeles and the year in the first part of that season with the Lions with Anthony Lynn? So many players have thrived. I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown would be what he's become without Ben Johnson. Same with Sam Laporta. Same with Josh Reynolds. That's all I'm saying.
Detroit Hammer. That's funny. He says, "Oh, you mean like you do with Michigan, Sam? No criticism, no matter what."
Well, I mean, there's nothing really to criticize about their football team this year.
Right.
They're stealing signs, Flannel.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This year,
and
there's nothing to criticize.
And you agree that Bowling Green game was awful from JJ McCarthy. You've already stated that.
It was
okay. All right.
Shout out to the boys from the 419.
Yeah, the Bowling Green boys, man. Like the guy at the gym you showed us yesterday. I mean, or JB did. That was he might have been playing on that Bowling Green defense.
Oh, the DC.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we'll get out of here, guys. Appreciate you for joining the show. Again, it really is. The chat makes the show. You guys are amazing. It's funny as hell. We appreciate your presence. You know, Sam Flannel and you guys have your battles. But at the end of the day, shake hands and keep it moving. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the Lions-Chargers game. It'll be a lot of fun. We went a little overtime there, but it was worth it. We're having a lot of fun today. So, again, Big D Energy, a fine show, 11-1. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, of course, 2 to 4. Heavyweights, 5 to 7. And Woodward Nights close out your night, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. with Booner and Broder. But thank you guys for tuning in, showing support. Don't forget on your way out, hit the like button on the video, on the stream. It does help the algorithm. It helps the network as well. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great, great Thursday, and we'll catch you